There we go. Recording in progress. Good evening. So, while we are waiting for the popcorn to arrive, we will. Sorry?
And Roman.
Yes. We are going to repeat a little bit what we said last week because it is there are many moving parts to it. So one needs to understand what is going on here, at least structure-wise. So we said that there's a need, there are these kind of paths of insight that enables a very, very profound insight. You know, it actually encompasses the entire Torah. And in order, to obtain this kind of insight, this kind of mental ability, this intellectual ability, what is required is a great deal of wealth. Is this Torah, this teaching, besides being, including many different parts, is very, besides being very complex, includes a rather extensive back and forth, going back and forth between the mashal and the nimshal, between the parable and the reality that parable comes to picture and make us understand. So basically we said you need this wealth. The way to get this kind of wealth is you need to enlarge your days, widen your days, have what they call a longevity, long days. Long days means days that you contribute more and more, you add more and more kedusha every single day, every single hour, and so forth and so on. We also mentioned that obviously it'll be tremendous if we can do it like Rabbeinu did it and Rav Nosson did it, in which every single breath was a total renewal. Unfortunately, we're not there yet. We're close, but we're not there yet. Yeah. We're like, yay, maybe not yay, but the point is that any kind of, this is the point that we emphasized, any kind of renewal, even renewal of a wistful wishing to improve, on keeping my mind on the ball, on the fact that the main thing is Olam Haba, is a Kadosh Baruch Hu, and there's literally hell to pay, is that kind of enlargement, is that kind of constant improvement. That brings about Yerushalayim, and that is the oitzer. That's the cash. That's the silo that includes that kind of wealth. So now the thing is that how does wealth do it? So we learned that Yira saves a person from the actual cause of poverty. Now, what is the cause of poverty? The cause of poverty is something called Hevel Achen, the Hevel Ayofi. Sheker Achen, the Hevel Ayofi. The false charm, the adopted mannerisms that people adopt in order to look cool, in order to look wise, in order to look important, in order to look, with gravitas, without, whatever it is. It's like a, Lord speaking of speaking of Lord. Yeah, I try. Anyhow, so now, no Hashem. I overate a little bit, so the Hevel Ayofi, that's when a person does not guard himself from exposure, from lusting after the beauty of women, with everything that entails, that brings him to poverty. Yira guards from that. When a person has Yir Shemayim, he doesn't look where he's not supposed to look. When he has, the kind of craving, the kind of thoughts that come into his mind that he shouldn't have, he pushes it away, and he keeps away from it. That in turn, hello. That in turn preserves the wealth and therefore enables a person to be wealthy. So we have two things here. We have that thing that help us become wealthy, and we have those things that help us, that cause us to lose that wealth. So what we said was that when somebody does not have Yira, somebody who is not keeping himself, who's not watching out from the beauty of women that brings him to poverty. There's a passage that says, "Al tzachmod yoifio bilvavcho," don't covet her beauty in your heart. Because when a person craves, because when a person, good evening. When a person goes after loose women, in other words, the beauty of women, he can reach the point of poverty that he doesn't have bread to eat. Kibad isha zoino, because of the person is, that the person can reach, poverty. Rabbeinu explains, this is what we read last week, that the ashiras, the wealth, which are required to this amazing insights that we said that you can look at the Torah, and Rabbeinu had it, all the Nevi'im had it, and Hevel Ayofi, the beauty of women, are two contradictory principles. Okay, now Rabbeinu says, why? He says, because ashiras, wealth, comes from a spiritual concept. We'll see Rabbeinu visits the physical manifestation of that. but it comes from the spiritual concept of arichus haneshama, the lengthening of the breath, the deepening of the breath, and the beauty comes from the stoppage of breathing. The stoppage, cessation, stop, holding a person's breath. And Rabbeinu explains. So first of all, Rabbeinu starts that from the Ashirus comes from Arichas HaNeshama, the wealth that comes from when a state of Arichas Neshama, the lengthening of the breath, as opposed to Hefsek HaNeshama, that this is where the beauty comes from. So now Rabbeinu explains these concepts, starting with why is beauty synonymous with the stoppage of breathing. So Rabbeinu starts with the physical mashal. How is it physically that we can see that beauty is a result of the stoppage of the breathing process? Okay? And it says in the time when the tipa zarius, when a person in that maisa, then when the drop comes out, it has to be that particular instant, that particular time, there has to be a stoppage of the breathing. I mean, it says there are two reasons for that. When a person is busy with progenation, the first reason is shlois kara tipo, that the drop itself will not be chilled. Will not be chilled. The drop is inside the person's body. Yes, exactly. Yeah. This is a tipa zarius. This is so that tipa will not be chilled. Chilled. By what? By the breathing. The action of the breathing is the lungs are the body's radiator. Right? You breathe in, breathing cold air from the outside. It has a cooling effect, an immediate cooling effect on the body. You would say, can you measure the difference in temperature when a person is breathing and a person is not breathing? Lemaisa, the answer is yes. The fact that we don't have, or as of yet, nobody even thought about measuring the difference when the air comes in, what the temperature is. The point is that when cold air comes in, it has the effect on various systems in the body of introducing a chilling effect, coldness. Yes. When you bring the air in, it cools. Yeah, it's cold, it's cool, it's cooling. It has a cooling effect. And the idea is that this may harm the drop, because the drop has to come out, with as much heat, internal heat, the natural normal heat as possible. And if it's being chilled, it harms it. And therefore, it's potent, and it can actually create children with that. The second reason is it says that when the drop comes out, the body is busy rejecting, pushing out, right? As we said, that a person is not when a person is cannot have children, it's because he's not allowed to push it, to shoot it. So we have a cloud that once, we have in Hilchos Pesach, it says something that is busy in being toilet, in extracting, cannot receive at the same time. That's how we know a Golas Kalim. That's where you can have water that you be muggle a lot of kasha, a lot of chametz kalim before, and then you take another one and you take it and you take it out and it's kosher lePesach. How come it doesn't get chametz from the water itself? You toivel a lot of different kalim in it, right? So we have a klal that being that it is busy, to expel the chametz, the keli, the chametz keli is busy expelling the chametz. It does not soak up. It doesn't soak up the chametz. Once it's busy expelling, it cannot receive, and if it receives, it cannot expel. That's a principle. So being that the physical action of the person is expelling the tipo, it is not possible to inhale at the same time, because inhaling is the opposite of pushing. Pushing, you cannot inhale when you are pushing it out, because the koyach hadoich is busy. To do. That's why the neshima, the breath, has to stop. At that particular moment, the breath has to stop. So the pushing can be done, and the drop is fully potentiated, is not weakened by the cooling effect of the incoming air. Now, Rabbeinu says you should know that air that came in, that the air that came in before, I mean, you can't just stop breathing and, it's okay, let me breathe an hour from now, right? It's like a person took a breath and then he stops that breath. Because what happens is that breath, that vapor, that hevel that came in before, is actually gets into the pushing force. It becomes part of the process of pushing it out. You can see, weightlifter, right? So when he wants to push it up, he has to stop his breath, right? Right?
You shouldn't breathe when you're lifting something.
Right.
At that time. That's why I had a teacher, who I was a gracious teacher, he knew all about these things, like he was a PT instructor. Anyways, he said people who suffered heart attacks with the snow, they went down to shovel the snow. So they lift up the snow, they breathe, and they breathe in. That's a wrong thing to do as they're lifting with it.
Exactly right. That's exactly what Rabbeinu is saying here. That's what Rabbeinu is saying here. Because when you're lifting, you make an action of you. So you have to breathe. You have to breathe. Either breathe out or stop your breath. Stop your breath, whatever it is. So this is now the thing is that the koyach of the breathing that you did before gets into the action, gets into the effort.
It's pressure on the heart too.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think he died. I think he did. Okay. Anyhow, be that as it may, it's not just that. That vapor, that air that came in, in the lung, it's warmed. When it is mislabesh, it gets into the pushing force. That pushes the drop out. But it has, besides having a technical influence on the action, it also has a qualitative influence on what is going on. Because according that vapor has a quality. How clean is it? How pure is it? Now, it's so the way the commensurately with the cleanliness and the purity of the vapor, this is how beautiful and healthy the child is.
All those things you're saying, the child will come out.
Yeah. You know, if the hevel is clean, if the vapor is clean, if the vapor is you know, and we're saying what a shot that it's clean.
What?
If the air that was in the
It
lung,
has to do with your thoughts or something.
that's right.
You shot.
So now we're taking effort, but also physically, the beauty and the health of it is also negea to the quality of the vapor. Right now, we are busy with the physical muscle. Now we're talking about the positive aspect of the stoppage of breathing. Okay? We're not talking about either the spiritual aspect of it or the negative aspect of it.
Stopping to breathe.
The stoppage of the breathing. So besides the stoppage of breathing, Rabbeinu gave you a muscle, Miderech HaTeva, where you find, you know, happenstance that this mechanism is involved. Okay, it also has obviously, which is the main kavona of what we're learning. It has a great spiritual meaning. Stopping of the breathing. So obviously, so and also physically, if the hevel is, I mean, it could be the hevel could be, you know, something is even not negia physically, even not negia to kedusha. The child can be beautiful, it can be healthy, you know. But lemaisa, if you want the beauty and the health, you know, we're talking about a spiritual beauty and health. Then it has to do with the spiritual cleanliness and beauty of the vapor, not the physical, but the spiritual. But right now we're talking, Rabbeinu is giving you the muscle, the physical muscle from this world, from the gashmias of this world. And he says the quality of the vapor gets into and determines the quality, the beauty, and the health of the child. But if there is a contamination, there is a darkening in the drop, this is then the tipa is also darkened. That influences, affects negatively the health and the beauty of the child. Rabbeinu says, Odom lehevel domo. So, you know, in Tehillim, basically the pshat of this Odom lehevel domo, hevel is also a language of, you know, something which is ephemeral, something which is, you know, ethereal. It's not real. It's like hevel. It's gone, right? So Rabbi Malach is saying, you know, in Tehillim, Odom lehevel domo, that the entire days of a person is this is in Tehillim, Odom lehevel domo. So yeah, in Tehillim you have 7 havolim, the very same hevel havolim, amar kohel, 7 havolim kol hevel, the 7 vapors that hevel, you know, hevel, nonsense, nothing, something that has no substance, and so forth. So in Tehillim it says Odom lehevel domo. So it says the days of a person is, you know, just, you know, like a hevel that person blows out and it's gone. But Rabbeinu brings a deeper musag. So why does the quality of the vapor in a person's lungs determine the health and beauty of the child? Because Adam, the child, lehevel dama, it has the qualities of the hevel, of the vapor. If the vapor is clean and pure, the child will be beautiful and healthy. And if the vapor is contaminated and dank, then the child will be ugly and sickly, chas v'chalila.
You're talking about the vapor in the zera?
The vapor is in the lungs, and the koyach of the vapor is mislabish in the force that pushes out the zera and influences the zera. Yes.
Also, twice, like,
It influences the zera, yes.
and so the vapor, the way pushes out the zero.
The vapor is included in the force that pushes out the zera, and it has an influence on the quality of the zera, on the results of what. This is all we're talking about. The moshel. This is the gashmius aspect of it.
I think there were times I like the humidity of something.
You can say, yeah. Ki kfi havel keisa havolo. The quality of the child is commensurate with the quality of the vapor. Achevel bnei odom, as it says over there. Because the vapor is that thing that makes the child, beautiful and healthy. This is what it says, hevel hayofi. The hevel, the vapor, is the thing that creates the yofi, creates the beauty. Because the yofi, the beauty, is commensurate with the quality of the hevel. So what we have proven so far is that the concept of hevel hayofi, in other words, the beauty of a person that comes through this vapor, through this hevel, in the time when the tipa comes out, hu mehefsek haneshima. It's made possible from the stoppage of the breathing. That's the thing that starts the whole process. Person stops breathing, the air, the vapor that was there before, gets pushed into the pushing force, and not only that, it also influences the quality of the drop that comes out, and therefore determines the health and stature of the child that is going to be born from it. So this is when we're talking about hefsek haneshima, the stoppage of the neshima, from the positive side. You cannot have children without, that stoppage of breathing, okay? So that's the positive aspect of it. That's the physical, that's the emotional. Now we're saying what remember what you were saying. And it says, Al-ken mishechomed yofi hanoshim, a person that covets, that lusts for the beauty of women, that action, that attitude, that behavior, it can be in thought, it can be in deed, it can be whatever it is that the person looks at, whatever. Now we're talking about stoppage of breath as the spiritual quality. When a person is addicted to the beauty of women, that gives him the quality of hefsek haneshima, stoppage of breath. And now we're talking about the spiritual aspect of it. Before we said the physical, now we're saying the spiritual. That's why it's the opposite of wealth. And now we're getting into. Now we said we said two things. We said there's arichas neshama, there is stoppage of neshama. We have the beauty of women, we have wealth. We have all these two things. Until now, we explained the hefsek haneshima, the stoppage of breathing, physical, and then we said that also the same thing, the same way that it exists in the physical domain, it also exists spiritually. When a person is busy all the time in thinking about the beauty of women, why would anybody think about the beauty of women? Because that's from the taiva, okay? So the taiva alone on a spiritual basis already has the quality of the stoppage of the neshima. Hefsek haneshima, that is the thing that is hepech ma'ashiris. Why? Because the shiris is from arichas haneshima, from the lengthening of the inhalation. Now Rabbeinu is going to go through the same process of explaining it through a physical mashal, and then how the same thing exists on the spiritual plane. Okay? I mean, are we cool so far? Hello? All right? Clear so far? Good. That's what happens. Now, that's why it's the opposite of Ashiras. Hefsek and Neshima is the opposite of Ashiras, because the Ashiras comes from the lengthening of the Neshima, comes from the inhaling, the long inhaling. Now Rabbeinu says, physically, where do we find that wealth, physical wealth, is the result of an intake of air? Okay, we already explained how beauty is the result of the stoppage of breathing, of intake of air. Okay, but Rabbeinu gives a different mashal. Rabbeinu says, "Ki kol minei ashiros, d'hainu kol minei dogon v'kol hailonos v'kol asovim," all the trees and all the crops, and not only this, but also all the metals and rakal de geshamim. They all come through the quality of the rain. Rain. Yes, it all depends on the quality of rains. It's very, very interesting. It's very interesting that the rains, when the rain falls, there are, different periods of rainfall. It's called Revia Rishayna, Revia Shnia, Revia Shlishis, like according to how do you know if the year, if people need to fast and beg for rain, if rain doesn't come during the first period or the second period, each one is called Revia. Revia Lemaisa means, he says that the heavens are impregnating the earth. The rain is that thing that enables things to grow. Before we said, the of Hefsek and Neshima, that pushes the Zera out. Now we're talking about something that makes the Zera grow in the earth and create things. It's also through the rain that is the connection between the Shemai, where the Shefa comes from, and the Aretz, the land where the Shefa grows, any kind of Shefa. If you're talking about plants, if you're talking about minerals, if you're talking about gems, it all comes from the breeding of the Shemayim and the Aretz. That's what Rabbeinu explains here. And that's why all the caches, all the oitris, all the treasures are all from the Shemayim. As it is said in Dvarim, Yiftach Hashem lecha et osara tov, Hashem will open to you his great treasure, his good treasure, to give the rain of your land in its proper time. So what's inferred here is that the oitris, the treasures, the wealth, comes through the rain. Okay, so but where does rain come from? What is rain? What is so that action comes from the breath. When you breathe in, when you inhale air from the outside. It is said in Iyov, the nishma scale from Kaviyachol, the nishma, from the breath of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, as it were, Yitain kerach, it'll give coldness, a cooling effect. V'rochav mayim, that brings about the wealth of water into very narrow places. That the water and the ice, they are created by the air that is created from, where does the air come from? This is Euphemistically is from the Shivas Ruchoi Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the breathing of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Everything that exists in this world has to have the neshima of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the breath of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in it. Nishmas Apar, Nishmas Chaim. This is the Nishmas Chaim, is the neshima, breathing. HaKadosh Baruch Hu breathes into this world, gives the world the existence. So, since the Ashiras, wealth, treasures, comes from Geshamim, and Geshamim are the result of the Ruach of Kodesh Baruch Hu. The world is inhaling the Ruach of Kodesh Baruch Hu. Nimtza, that when somebody covets the beauty of women, what does he do? He forgoes accepting Arichas Neshama from a Kodesh Baruch Hu, and he adopts the Hefsek Neshama, the stoppage of breathing, which makes him far from Ashiras. But somebody who is Zeicha to Yira, that guards him from the beauty of women, that enables him to acquire the quality of Arichas Neshama. Before we explained that spiritually, when a person is busy, or person is addicted to the beauty of women, he acquires the quality of stoppage of the neshima, of the breathing. Same way, the opposite. When a person has yira, and it keep himself, he's very careful not to go after the beauty of women, he is there to acquire the quality of arichas neshima, of a large intake of air, a large drawing of ruchoi of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Therefore, he is acquiring the capacity for wealth. Zeh Pchinas, it says in Mishlei, Hon Ashir Curious Uzay. And it says the strength, Apipshat, we understand that the strength of the wealth of a person who's rich, his money is keeps him secure, keeps him away from trouble, keeps him protected. The Hon Ashir, the wealth of the rich man, Kiryas Uzay, it's the fortress of his strength. But what we are saying here, more than that, is Hon Ashir is curious. This is the coldness, kerach, manishmas kelitan kerach, curious. It's an air that comes in, a cold air that comes in. Anusha or the pchinas anashima. The wealth is through the bechina of the neshima, which is a cold air that you receive all the time from the outside. Ze curious uzoi. What it says, curious uzoi, it's the coldness that brings about uzoi, the strength, the might, that alludes to bchinas geshem mitros uzoi. The geshem is also called the rains of Hashem's strength. Around Roisel, the rain, many places, is connected with gvuros, with might. That's the mightiness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that comes from the. Now, that's what the Kohen says. Hayesh behavle hagoyim magshimim. In the vapors of the goyim are the magshimim? Can the vapors of the goyim create rain? That's a big kasha. We know that they have plenty of rains, right? The goyim have plenty of rain.
Sure.
The goyim, they have plenty of rain. California, they have a lot of rain, no? Don't they?
No.
Yes. Good. So Yirmiyahu says, is it possible? Is there in the vapor, in the goyish vapor, there's magshimin? Because the havla goyim, the vapor of the goyim, is typified with hefsek and neshima, with stoppage of breath. The vapor of the goyim, because the goyim are constantly into that, into znus, into that. So that's why there are no geshamim there. There are no geshamim there, not in the physical sense, but in the spiritual sense. The thing that brings in the rain, the kedusha, is the neshima. Now you can ask, just a second. So how come we don't have rain in Israel? Women say Eretz Yisrael sheitotchila, right? Eretz Yisrael gets rained on first. It drinks first. Then the rain, comes to
almost.
all the different lands. But we can see that in Eretz Yisrael, there can be a situation when there's no rain. Nevertheless, when it comes to the ground, it can be floods, plenty of rain. So people need to understand what's the pshat that Eretz Yisrael shows achila. And Eretz Yisrael drinks first. How can there be a situation that there's no rain here, but there's rain there? If we receive it first, and they receive it from us. So we can give it a very simple notion. Imagine that the person is filling water into a cup. And the cup stands on top of a barrel. When you pour the water into the cup gets filled up. When the cup is full, what happens to the water that keeps on coming in? It spills out and fills the barrel, right? The cup is Eretz Yisrael, and the barrel is Chutz La'aretz. However, if Eretz Yisrael is the Eretz of Hashgacha, so the emunah, the Hashgacha, the purity, the behavior in Eretz Yisrael is the bottom of the cup. So what happens if you fill a cup and the cup has no bottom? The water still comes into the cup. And from the cup, it goes into the barrel. The barrel gets filled up, but the cup remains empty because it doesn't have a bottom. Because Eretz Yisrael, if we don't behave, the Ayah Kodesh Baruch Hu is in the land of Am Yisrael from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, in Eretz Yisrael. If we don't behave properly, that causes the bottom to drop out. So the rain, we still drink first, but we don't retain any of it. And this is what it says, Hon Hevel Yimot, Hon, plenty, wealth. The Hevel through the Hevel, through the Pchinas Hevel Hayofi, a person, is coveting the beauty of the women, Nim Atahon, that causes the diminishing of the wealth. At Hashem, we will stop here and we will continue with this next week. It's very important that we keep the learning slow and repeat it again and again. So, we don't possess, the kind of cleanliness and kedusha to understand, what Rabbeinu is saying here, L'maisa. L'maisa, we can understand, the person is not supposed to think. What is, what you're not supposed to think, supposed to keep yourself. That is plenty clear. And the thing that we need to explain here is that these things have to do with us. Rabbeinu wants us to do all these tikkunim. Rabbeinu wants us to do tikkunei atzos. Rabbeinu wants us to acquire these kivunei machshava, this enlarging of our consciousness, to be able to learn, according to our he wants us to do Tikkun Atik according to our Madrega. Tikkun Atik, that's what the Torah is all about. We started by saying, remember, Tikkun Atik. The Rabbeinu has explained it. Everything we're learning now is Tikkun Atik. Tikkun, the rectification of the sphere of the Kesem. That's the highest sphere there is. That's what the Shimon Bar Yochai was masaken in the Idra Rabba Kadisha. Rabbeinu teaches us how we can do it in our level, on our level. That if Shimon Bar Yochai could do it, we understand. Moshe Rabbeinu could do it, we understand. Rabbeinu could do it, we understand. But how do I do it? Why do I need to know about it? Because what Rabbeinu is teaching us with this Torah, as we're learning, is that we need to do these tikkunim ourselves as well. Now, that's one of the reasons that it's so important to say Likutey Tfilas of the Torah that we're learning. Likutey Tfilas. You know, the tefillah of the Torah that we're learning. Yes. Because when you do something, when we learn this Torah, and after we say that tefillah, we are enacting the Tikkun Atik according to our level. All right? Okay, I want to wish everybody a good Shabbos. We're in the middle of Shovavim. It is, that much more important to keep one's thoughts clean and stay away, guard oneself from the beauty of women in an impure way. Obviously, if a person is married, or a person needs to get married or whatever it is, and it has to be exposed. That's the positive side. This what Hefsek Neshima is positive, is necessary. The point is that we're saying a person should stay away when it's not necessary. That's what Rabbeinu says. That's why Yirmiyah was wondering, what, the Havla going produce rain? What are you talking about? There's plenty of rain by the Goyim. Yeah, but that's the Tumah. Their rain is really Hefsek Neshima. Because all the wealth that they get, which is not B'Kedusha, only detracts from them, only takes away from them. Rabbeinu says that when a person is El Chayid, everything he lacks, he doesn't lack. And the wealthy people, the Rishonim, everything they have nothing. At Hashem, see you next week, and I want to wish a good Shabbos to everyone.